Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Miss Southwestern here, all the way from Tucson. PK, how are you?
Melting down, darling, melting down.
Oh, melting.
Oh, God.
How hot is it there?
Too hot. We'll just put it that way. It's too hot. And on top of that, it's been raining in different areas throughout the city. Not necessarily at my house. 3 blocks up the way, it will, but not here.
How strange.
So it's humid on top of everything else. So little things. I left some books on the patio. They are now with a little bit of mold and whatever on them. So, woohoo.
Yeah.
Love this kind of heat. Of course. Maybe that will freshen me up if I run out through the rain.
Yes. Yes.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, I know. You and me both. It's been crazy times in New England and crazy times in Tucson. But tell us what's going on with the numbers. Where are we?
This is a 9-month. It's ending all types of things. So this is the end of the year that we've been going through. It's clearing the decks, making for some new issues that are to take place starting next month. So if you've got anything you want to get rid of, dump it now. Get rid of it all. I love that it's going to be a new day, a new way, and new opportunities to begin starting next month. This month, take a look at what you've got, what you want to get rid of. Please do it. Don't drag it with you into the next year's feelings. It's so easy to do because I was trying to do it myself because I didn't want to let go of something. And then I realized God took care of it for me. I got a wet house, wet carpet, wet whatever. And I said, well, I guess he's got a better handle on things than I do because I'm getting new carpet now.
Oh, right. Yes.
So the old that we get rid of, there's a new beginning with everything. Get rid of what you don't want any longer and hang on to what's coming because it's going to be great. Next month will be a preview of the next year.
Okay, we got to watch that closely then.
Take notes so you don't screw up.
Yeah, no screw ups allowed.
No, not at all. And if you do, I didn't do it.
Yeah, okay. Not your fault. Not at all. Well, we've been getting a lot of people interested in the abstract affirmations of how fast can you. So I got a new one. How fast can you make me rich? You like that one?
Love that one.
How fast can you make me happy? How fast can you make me healthy? That's the question. That's what you're asking your subconscious mind. Come on, come to the front.
All 3 of those are so important.
Yes.
Every one of them so important.
And we need them right now. We don't want to wait. So it's how fast can you? And then you add on the rest of it. Those are fun affirmations. They're very.
That's great. Especially for people like me that have no patience.
Yes, well.
I wanted it yesterday, but I'll take it today.
That's right. Right now.
Definitely right now.
Yes, all of us. So anyways, have fun with those, everybody.
Yes.
Now, we have a real celebrity with us today.
Yes, we do.
I have been wanting to bring Jonathan Goldman on the show for years. And his wonderful publicist, Gail Torr, who we absolutely love, was kind enough to say, hey, would you like to have Jonathan on your show? I'm like, yes, please.
Perfect.
Bring him on. Because this man is amazing. I mean, he was so far ahead of everybody else when it came to sound and healing and putting everything together so we could understand it and work with it. And he's got a brand new book out. It's a beautiful book. I think he wrote it. I think Jonathan wrote it with his soul. I really do. It's so deep and it's so beautiful. And everybody go out and buy it. It dropped today. So go get your copy. So let me tell you, for those of you who are not familiar, you've been living under a rock, you may not know about the work that Jonathan Goldman has done. He is an international authority and pioneer in the field of sound healing. He has been engaged in this field for over 45 years. He is an author of numerous books, including The 7 Secrets of Sound Healing, Chakra Frequencies, and the best-selling The Humming Effect. co-authored with his lovely wife, Andy Goldman. That won the 2018 Gold Visionary Award for Health Books. Excuse me. His classic, Healing Sounds, has just had a special 30th anniversary edition release. And his latest book, which you just saw on the screen, Ascension Harmonics, is now been released. So Jonathan is the director of the Sound Healers Association and president of Spirit Music Inc. in Boulder, Colorado. He's a Grammy nominee, and he has created over 25 best-selling, award-winning recordings, including Chakra Chants and The Divine Name with Greg Braden. Instead of just talking about him, I could go on and on, but let's bring him on the show. Jonathan, welcome.
Welcome, Patricia and PK. What a blessing it is to be resonating with you both today. This feels so very special. Thank you for this opportunity.
It's our delight.
Yes, and congratulations on this beautiful and incredibly unusual new book. It's so unusual. We are just dying to dive into it. But before we go there, tell our audience a little bit about you and what made you so passionate about sound and healing and all the wonderful things you're bringing to us today.
Patricia, I'm going to journey back with you in the Wayback Machine to 1979 and my playing in a rock and roll band in a seaside bar in Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Oh my goodness.
I come in from the break with the band, strap on one of these guitars that you see back there, start playing, and as I'm playing, I'm looking out at the audience and I become aware that the ambiance of the club was generating one of negativity and violence. And there was a lot of alcohol and other intoxicants that was going on there, but I also realized that the music that I was creating at that time was helping feed this ambiance. And I had the thought, what if music can be used to make people feel good? That's all. That was all the thought is. But you have to understand, I've been professionally playing for about 15 years before that. And it was pretty much always, I loved playing, but it was also, look at me, aren't I cool? And, the concept of, the fields of consciousness being affected by the sound, I don't know where that came from. I like to say the light of God struck me that night when I was on stage because it was something very special. Or it might have been an extraterrestrial, shall we say, waveform that hit me at that particular moment in time and place. So it was something that went on.
So it just transforms so many things all at once for you as you perform.
And a week later, that thought shifted about 10 degrees and became, what if sound can be used to heal? Which is much bigger, if you like, thought form. And then someone handed me a piece of paper, and on that piece of paper was an advertisement for a workshop on using sound for healing. I ended up going to this workshop that was taught by a woman who became a dear friend, dear mentor. She was the godmother of my son and just a blessed being. Her name was Sarah Benson. She lived in the Berkshires. And what happened was there were probably about 30 people in this workshop. And I was placed in the middle of a circle holding a quartz crystal like this. I closed my eyes. My name was chanted. I went out of my body into an amethyst pyramid in the woods. When I came back into my body, I thought, I got to find out more about this, and I got to find out more about sound. And that began my journey.
Incredible. So this is really, meant to be for you. This is your path.
And it's been incredible. As soon as I said yes, doors just opened up. Shortly after that, it became such a passion because it was so cool. The more I know about sound, we're just in our infancy, really, of understanding the parameters of what sound as a healing and transformation modality can do. But I ended up going to Lesley University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where I got a master's degree in the subject of sound as a healing modality. And I came to certain realizations about sound that have stayed with me, continue that. And one of the things was about the importance of intentionality.
How does that fit in to this?
Well, a lot of people are aware sound travels as a waveform. And this waveform is measured in cycles per second. And these cycles per second, or hertz, as they're called scientifically, are a way of measuring its frequency. And people think, okay, well, sound is just frequency. But from my perspective, there's another additional aspect of sound, which is intentionality. I'm going to tell you how I came up with this one, if I may.
Yes, please.
It was a while ago. It was so much a while ago that I'm sitting in front of a computer with a DOS operating system, flat screen, amber letters. Yeah, you might remember that. My goodness gracious! And I had a pile of papers about Yo-Hi, and they had been information I've been collecting for the last few years from different scientists, doctors, musicians, healers, all sorts of different people, shaman, who had shared with me about their uses of sound for healing. What sounds I use, what tones, what frequencies, you name it, I had it. And I thought, okay, I'm going to gather this all together in a coherent file and create Goldman's Encyclopedia of Sound Healing. How exciting. I come from a family of doctors, and I thought, okay, it's going to be that simple. And you'll be able to basically open up this book, have an imbalance, look up the frequency that you wanted to receive for that, and that's it. But what happened instead was, as I began to gather this information, nothing aligned. You would have spiritual master A using a particular mantra for a particular chakra, and spiritual master B using a different mantra for the same chakra. Or you'd have Dr. X using a frequency or a series of frequencies for an organ, and Dr. Y using a completely different set of frequencies for the same organ. They didn't match up. And this was at a time before there was any sort of, people were confiding with me because I was really interested. I was at the time the new kid on the block, and I was really enthusiastic, and they were trying to share this information with me. And it didn't match up. And I'm sitting there in this chair, looking at the amber cursor flashing back and forth, waiting for me to input information. And I can't, because nothing is matching up. And I'm in a state of intellectual angst. How can this be? How can this be? When I hear an inner voice say, it is not only the frequency of the sound that creates its effect, it is also the intention of the person making and receiving the sound.
Oh.
And I wrote down the words frequency plus intent equals healing on the amber letters. They were almost gold against black. And that formula has been with me for over 40 years. And it seems like it's more relevant now than ever, because as we become more and more engaged in quantum consciousness, we realize the input and how much our own consciousness can interface with the reality that we create.
That's so fascinating. And it makes so much sense also. It does. I know we have a healer. He doesn't call himself one, but we brought him on the show a number of times. And he beams out these photons, millions, where all of us peons would do maybe 60 or 70. He does millions. And I mentioned to him a long time ago, I think it would work better if people had intent, or if you did. Somebody's got to have intent here. And he didn't want to go along with it at first. Mm-hmm. But now he tells everybody when he does this to use intent, is it all lines up with what you're saying.
Right.
Patricia, when I first came up with this gestalt, I was at the time working with doctors and scientists, and at these conferences, and I go, have you ever thought of the importance of intent? They would look at me like I was a man from another planet.
I bet.
Which I might be, but they weren't supposed to know that. Now, of course, gradually things shifted and changed. You get Wayne Dyer doing a PBS special on the power of intent. You get Dr. Bruce Lipton writing The Biology of Belief, Joe Dispenza doing You Are the Placebo, Lynn McTaggart doing her intention experiments. All these things, the work of Masaru Emoto, showing how you can take water, freeze it, photograph it through a dark field microscope, and it takes on different shapes. If the intention, if the energy is negative, it looks like mud, and if it is positive, it looks like a snowflake. Mm-hmm. Well, it's huge. In fact, regarding that, there was one particular series of experiments he did with water from the Fujiwara Dam, which is a polluted dam in Japan. And he photographed that, and it looked like mud. And then he basically gave this same water to a Zen Buddhist priest, and the priest chanted something called the Heart Sutra over it. Gate, gate, paragate, parasam, gate, bodhisattva. For about 20 minutes, he rephotographed it, and it went from looking like mud to looking like the most perfect, pristine snowflake. Now, how much of our body is water? How much of our planet is water? And this actually goes along very much so with Ascension Harmonics, my new book. Mm-hmm. A lot of the book is focused on sacred sound. And what is sacred sound? But encoding a sound with a specific divine intent.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's been a lot said about the different names of God. And so you have a name right on the cover of your book in Hebrew letters.
Yes, I do. And I'm going to own that from my perspective, this sound, if you like, is it may be the most powerful mantra that I've ever encountered. But at the same time, it's composed solely of vowel sounds, not consonants. And this is a part of the book that, if you like, was a great revelation to me as I knew this information, I wrote about it. The book is actually 3 different books in one. The first one deals with my, if you like, interface or experience with that name that's on the cover. It's called the Tetragrammaton in Kabbalah or the Hebrew tradition. It's the 4-letter name of God, and it's normally either spoken of as being Yod He Vav He or Yahweh. But I had this revelation, which I'd like to tell you about because it sort of
please do.
Yeah, we want to know.
I was in the Berkshires.
In
the 1990s, and I awakened from a dream. In the dream, I was told to intone these vowel sounds going from my crown center to my root center and then back up again. Now, I have to backtrack and say that for about 10 years before that, I've been working with this set of vowel sounds that I've been given on, I remember the date. It was March 21st, 1986, which would be the spring equinox, when I had this profound experience being told that these are the 7 vowel sounds that you can use to resonate the chakras. And they worked, and I taught them throughout the world. And in fact, if you Google vowels as mantra, you'll probably come up with this system. And I knew it really well going up. But in the dream, I'm told to go down and then up. And I couldn't do it. So I had to write down what the vowel sounds were, and then I intoned them. And as I intoned them, I felt the energy go from the top of my head down to the base of my spine and then back up again. I kind of expected that, but what I didn't expect was that I basically heard sort of an elongated and it sounded like the name Yahweh, but extended in tone together.
Pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
I was rather floored by this. Shortly after, I remember I was out in Portland, Oregon, teaching to a group of nurses. I was sponsored by these nurse healers who were also basically high priestesses in a particular Egyptian tradition. And they were also major students of mine. So I thought, okay, I'm going to share this with them. Well, we were in a room together. We made this sound, and everybody passed out. And I went, yikes! This is not the time, not the place. I'm not going to do this.
Oh my!
So I'm going to now jump ahead. I don't know how many years, 5, 10 years. I'm at a workshop being given by my friend Greg Braden, and the workshop is on a book that he's just written called the God Code. And I turned to my wife, Andy, with my mouth open. I said, Greg is teaching Kabbalah. And I thought, well, if he's teaching Kabbalah, now might be the time to reveal this information that I got. So I went out to dinner with Greg. We went out to dinner with Greg. And I said, Greg, I discovered this perhaps intonation of what the sacred name, it's been, Greg talked about the fact that it was prohibited and then lost for about 2,500 years. And I said, this is perhaps a rediscovery of it. And I made a recording of this for him to play for his workshops with the idea that people wouldn't record it. But of course, someone did. And it started appearing on the internet. I said, well, I guess I'm going to need to do a superior recording of this. And I put that out through Hay House. And then after that, I began working on a book on how to teach this to people so that they could experience it themselves.
Well, it's so powerful what you're doing. It's giving us back our sovereignty.
True.
Thank you. You got it. I don't have to say anything more.
Very true.
In fact, I think that one of the reasons why it became, quote, lost was that the priestcraft basically suppressed it because it created a hotline to the divine that everyone could experience once they learned it.
Right.
You didn't need to go through them. You could have a direct communication with source. It's really interesting how, if you like, there are forces that try to suppress our evolution and our ascension to higher realms of consciousness.
Yeah.
Amazing.
There's so much there. It's very it's very discouraging to know how many forces don't want us to have this information that you're releasing.
True.
And we need it. We need this information. It's what we deserve. It's part of who we are. But there's still some questions that I have about, and maybe I'm sure you know the answer, why sound sometimes does not work, even when there is intent. And I don't know, I had this idea once that some of the times it doesn't work because it's not really getting into the skin. It's like we need to have little copper antenna on us and then play the sound. What do you think?
I think we don't need that because, and remind me before, because I want to answer that, but I want to answer that too. Okay, there are two ways that we hear. One is the sound goes into our ear, into our brain, affecting our nervous system, our heart rate, or respiration. That's called psychoacoustics. The other is called vibroacoustics, and that's where the sound goes into our body, into our cells, into our DNA, into our molecules. So I don't know that we really need these other enhancing things, but I'm going to suggest something that I came across a long time ago that feels as relevant as ever. And I think it came from a man by the name of Herbert Benson, who wrote a book called The Relaxation Response. He was actually associated with Beth Israel Hospital in Boston. But what he said, in Tibetan medicine, there are three elements. There's the belief in the healer in the medicine. There's the belief in the person receiving the medicine, the belief in the healer, and then the karma between the two.
Oh.
That may be the missing ingredient.
Oh.
Whether it's a spiritual thing or a vibrational thing. Because I have, Patricia, wondered that myself. Why have some people had an experience with sound, with whatnot, and their lives are transformed, and for somebody else, nothing happened?
Yeah. my question too.
Yeah.
Now, in my book, The 7 Secrets of Sound Healing, the first 4 secrets are, my wife Andy and I teach them as the 4 pillars of sound healing. I like that. But the third pillar, which is one that, the first one is everything is vibration. In the beginning was the word. Second is intent is powerful. We talked about that. The third one is we are all unique vibratory beings. And so let me ask you, are either of you allergic to penicillin?
I am.
There you go. We have on this one 50% of our audience. If I, because I always ask, how many of you are allergic to penicillin? And usually about 20%. And I say, okay, for 80% of you, even 95, depending upon the group, penicillin is a healing frequency, if you like. It's a healing modality, but if everything in the universe is in frequency, then penicillin is a frequency or a series of frequencies. And it's going to be healing for 80%, but it's going to be toxic for 20%. And this is something I think that we will find not only with pharmaceuticals or supplements or anything. I think that ultimately the same thing has to do with sound. I have enough experiences with people receiving sounds that were supposed to be healing and weren't.
So it could be just our own personal sensitivities, you think, that might be blocking it?
Well, yeah, and rather than saying blocking, it's not correct for you. It's not in your resonance. I mean, PK, I'm going to suggest that penicillin, you're not blocking it. It's just not the right pharmaceutical for you. If you were to use it, you could find something else.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And those are the type of things that close my throat, break out in hives, and I can't breathe.
My wife is allergic to it. My son is allergic to it. So in my family, 2 out of 3 are like it's not good. So it's an interesting phenomenon. But that's just an idea. We think we're all the same. We're not all the same.
Not at all.
And if we can grok that, if we can get that as as a reality, then we can understand that it's very difficult to use a cookbook mentality of healing because we're all so unique and individual.
Yeah. And do our associations with color and things like that then also have a similar effect? I mean, because some people might have a bad experience with the color green or whatever. And is that also hold true?
For sure, but I'm not going to go there because there's so much more I want to go into, and that's just another.
We have to get the book.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
But what I want to say is that I'm going to hold this up. Here we have the cover, and this over here, this is the Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. These are the Hebrew letters. And the Hebrew letters are, as we all know, consonants. And I thought, okay, and this is what I knew. Hebrew letters were consonants. So therefore, my experience making this sound was illusionary because I was dealing with vowel sounds, and these were consonants. So never the twain shall meet, and I realized I was wrong until I started reading a book called Teach Yourself Biblical Hebrew. And the first couple of chapters were okay, they were good. I was fine. Third chapter was like the use of vowel sounds in biblical Hebrew. I'm going, what? And it turns out, and this is so scholarly and true, most people don't know it because we're talking about biblical Hebrew, which is in the BC time. There were 4 different letters, but the Yud, the Hey, and the Vav were all doubled as vowel sounds. And indeed, when I found out what the vowel sounds were that they were, it was exactly what I'd received. And then I found this in other books, and that's when I basically began to write about it, because I said, oh, this is probably not an illusion. This probably is an aspect of truth that I've somehow been helped to discover and share with people.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
That's amazing. So When you teach people to say this name, chant this name, experience this name,
Yeah.
what happens? I mean, I would imagine it's all over the map in terms of what can happen.
Okay. Well, I have an hour-long Audible or whatever they call it, where you can download that goes with the book, so that you can basically hear how to make these sounds, because it's so very, very important to be able to hear the sound in order to create it. I just want to share that with you as a thing. So it's a bit of a process, but for many people, they'll feel this rush of pain, this tetragrammaton. They said, do it again. And I did it again. I'm going, well, what's going on? Take my picture. Let me see what it looks like. Do it again. Did it again. And finally, he basically filmed it. And what happened, because he just thought there was something wrong with the camera. But as I began making the sound, there's a picture of me looking kind of like this. And all of a sudden, this white cloud begins to fill me. And by the time I'm done creating it, the white cloud filled the entire picture. And I thought, well, this is pretty interesting.
Yes,
Definitely.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Wow. So I'm going to download this so I can hear it tonight. I have to.
Well, in
I
honor of this,
Gosh. So when you say download the Audible file, is it the same name as the book?
well, let me take a look in the book, because I have to tell you that it should be from like get-go, ways that you can use. Okay, here we go. Over here, audio download is what it says. Audio download instructions and track listings. And there's over an hour's worth of this stuff. And it's really good stuff, because I wanted to give this. Yes, I probably could have sold it individually and, given $150, whatnot. But I wanted, my purpose here is basically to
Absolutely losing you a little bit. Now,
to these sounds is of assistance, then I'm going to do that. So yes, I saw them. See, I think we'll be able to catch up with it. But as I said, I think you can hear me now? Yes.
yes.
Am I here for you?
Yes.
Sometimes the spirits get overexcited. So this divine name, if you like, you need to, if you like, learn how to sound it and experience it for yourself. Because if you were to just mimic me, it would be a little bit like eating plastic fruit, where you wouldn't get the substance. But just because you're so kind, and because today is the opening day, I'm going to basically make this sound for you.
Oh, good.
Fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't mind, in the book also is an invocation to a being by the name of Shamael, who is the angel of sacred sound, also known for those who are into Kabbalah as Metatron.
Huh?
And Metatron is the highest angel, if you like. And of course, if in the beginning was the Word, and the Lord said, if sound is creational form, the highest angel would be the angel of sacred sound. So if you bear with me, I'm going to do this, and I trust that the higher realms will not begin playing with going jiggy with the internet right now. We'll see.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay. I invoke the spirit of Shamael, angel of sacred sound. May the sound of light surround me. May the light of sound guide me. May sacred sound come through me, the harmony of all. Here we go. don't know how that came out for you, but I have to tell you, for me, I am in a very blissed out high state right now. So
You can sing more than one note at a time.
that's right. There's an aspect of overtone singing that's there, and it's very easy to do. It's very easy to do. And once again, I share with you, one can simply go working with, see, because within each of these vowel sounds is a series of what are called harmonics or overtones. Most people don't realize that when we hear a sound, we're not hearing an individual frequency. We're hearing composite frequencies called overtones or harmonics. And the vowel sounds are the key to the whole thing, which is why I call this book Ascension of Harmonics, because you can hear the sound, the harmonics going up like that. And it's a pretty powerful thing. I want to also just mention that this tetragrammaton, and this may be the sound of the tetragrammaton, it may not be, or it may be just one varied way of making this sound, because a lot of people have found very extreme satisfaction in working with the consonants of the tetragrammaton, and I honor that and say that's fabulous. This is just another way, if you like, because there are many ways of approaching the divine, and this is one that came to me that I wanted to share.
That's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
They say Bigfoot can do the same thing.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, with those big bodies, it just, everything's resonating, and they say that they can do infrasound also. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. And your voice is so powerful. I mean, to hear those overtones coming from you, it's very powerful.
I hesitated doing it because I didn't want people to think that they needed to basically be overtone singers, because you can do something as simple as and have that same effect. So in other words, it's sounding the vowel sounds in this particular sequence, but also having, if you like, a little bit of training or a little bit of experience. See, that's the whole thing with sound. You can have your left brain, your logical brain filled. I used to be a walking encyclopedia of sound healing, but it did no good. It wasn't until I had the experience. And once I had the experience, I could then pass that on to people because it was real for me, it was resonant to me, and I could pass it on. That's the whole thing. When you have an experience with sound, it becomes much more than just a good idea. It becomes an embodiment of vibration and consciousness.
Have you ever had dreams where information comes to you via sound?
Sure. All the time.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And it is.
And I've seen and had some extraordinary experiences with sound. Well, I'll share one with you because it was so interesting. And you ladies may be young enough to remember the harmonic convergence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was down with a group of people at an ancient Mayan temple of Palenque in the Yucatan. And there was a guide. He was a brujo, actually. And he said, I'm going to take you on a tour of Palenque that no one else has ever had. And he took us into a underground temple that was being dug out. And he somehow knew of my interest in sound. So I'm with a group of about 6, 7 people. He goes into a room, points over the archway, turns off his flashlight and says, make sound. And I began to make something that was very similar to the divine name. And the room became illuminated.
Bye.
And it was crazy. It wasn't like the flashlight. It was like everybody could make out each other's shapes. And they were just, it became And after about a minute or so, he turned the flashlight back on, moved on, and he took us to some other places that were equally astounding. But then I said to him, I said, did you all experience anything when I was making the sound? They said, yeah, the room became light. I said, okay. So that's just an example of sound becoming light. And that was a real experience that I had. And I know that it was real, obviously. And actually, I wrote quite a bit about that in different books because I think it's an ability that we have that we just have forgotten about. I think we've forgotten a lot of our abilities. We've been given amnesia, and we're owing
That is
that.
so true. Yeah, it's terrible.
That makes good sense.
Yeah. We need to remember, but it's not that easy. I mean, it's people like you that help us remember. And you had great experiences also inside the Great Pyramid, right? You also recorded there, didn't you?
Well, that was actually more of a bilocation experience where rather than being there, I projected there. But I wanted to share something with you, which has nothing to do with psychic adventures or anything like that. But it's something that I want to share with you that anyone who's listening to this might take into themselves because it's something we're talking about sound healing. And I'd like to suggest that we can all use the conversational voice as a tool for sound healing simply by encoding our words with compassion, kindness, and perhaps love. That is so important. We're living in such a time of divisiveness right now. People don't know how to listen to each other. Most of the time, somebody's talking, you've already got an answer to what they're saying before they finish saying it, and you want to make them wrong.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything. If we can begin to generate kindness, compassion, appreciation, whatever you want to use in terms of a positive energy to other people and let them know that they have some sort of purpose. You may not agree with them. That's okay. But they have their belief system. And from my perspective, if we can begin to do something as simple as this, people can begin to work together with each other and we can get a phenomena of 1 + 1 = 3. In other words, a synergism that is much greater than the effects of just the individual parts. We are living in interesting times and we've done some really tragic things to our planet.
Yes.
But most of the tragic things that we've done have been human created. What if humans began to work together? I just know that we can work together and solve a lot of these issues if we can just realize the importance and the power of compassion, of kindness, of love.
It's so simple and powerful, but people lose their minds. I mean, they just get caught up in these half-finished loops of anger and resentment and ego. And it becomes violent very quickly today. Very quickly.
Fears and jealousy seem to reign supreme, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, it's so interesting because I don't know if it was Abe Lincoln who said a house divided cannot stand, but the two great ways of creating division are fear and anger. Yeah. And jealousy is simply an aspect of that. On a level, I'd like to suggest, I'm going to jump to a more pleasant topic for a moment.
Go ahead.
Okay, good.
Which is that, working with self-created sounds, we can reach higher levels of consciousness. Working in groups together with self-created sounds, we can co-create a collective that literally interfaces with the field of our planet. For the past, coming up on February 14th, 2027, we'll be celebrating our 25th annual World Sound Healing Day. And this is a day when people throughout the planet get together and they intone a sound encoded with the energy of love, compassion, gratitude, and they intone it at one particular time. This has been measured by the Global Consciousness Project out of Princeton University, and it's a measurable scientific phenomena. This isn't the only event that's been measured, but events of high compassion are measurable. This is not events of high excitement like the Super Bowl, but events of high compassion. And it's so very, very important, because we've just forgotten how good it feels to be nice to each other.
Yes, we have.
We're in too much of a hurry, going nowhere.
But sound can remind us if we let it, right?
It's a wonderful wake-up call. As I said, I like to call the divine name a hotline to the divine, and it is a tool.
I like that.
Yeah.
There are many different tools, but it is a tool, and a very powerful tool that people can use to reawaken themselves. And the book gives you a step-by-step process of vibratory activation using sacred sound. And you can learn to effectively intone the divine name with intention and prayer, enabling you to receive vibratory activation and healing. That's pretty cool.
Very cool. Now, for some people, does it stimulate a Kundalini experience? Does that happen?
I have not known of it happening with this because I like to believe that for the most part, self-created sound will take you only as far as you're supposed to go. I know of activating Kundalini, having spiritual masters come over and tap you on the head or doing this or that and doing it, but that's the secondary source. This itself seems not to be, it can affect the Kundalini, but not create a Kundalini experience where you're sitting around thrashing around like a wild serpent or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because I've seen that, and I know how to deal with it because I work with I have a technique where I work with the Tibetan deep voice and put my hand around someone's sacral area and just simply go, and all of a sudden, like, but that has not come from the divine name.
No. Doesn't sound like it, yeah.
I've learned various techniques.
Yeah, let me ask you about the Peruvian whistling vessels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always fascinated by those, always. And those are very powerful. When you sit in a circle, apparently people can do that. And then they have these wild experiences with the unknown. Have you used them? Have you tried them?
I have a couple of sets.
Oh my God. See, that's amazing.
And indeed, I know I was good friends with a man who basically brought them back into the planet named Dan Statnikoff, another man named Donald Wright. And they're really cool. And I really like them. You blow them in sets of 7 in a circle. The only difficulty is that they're very loud and they can seem to stimulate tinnitus or ringing in the ears. So I'm a little cautious about that because people have a tendency of overdoing it. A lot of people don't know the concept of moderation.
Never
that
thought
is a foreign concept sometimes to people. Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm so impressed that you have several sets of these and you've done this because since I was, I don't know, my 20s, a million years ago, I've always wanted to have an experience of them. Now, does your friend still make them? And
they might be available. And I will tell you that they're probably the most powerful. I mean, I know there are all sorts of brainwave activity, headbands and recordings and all that stuff, but nothing has come close to my doing the Peruvian whistling vessel. First time I blew a vessel, I literally was out of my body and I was taken somewhere else. And it was just like, yowza. It was, and they're, of course, very, very ancient and old. They work with the binaural beat frequency phenomena, but I think they also figured out a way of actually literally sonically, psychoacoustically affecting the pineal gland.
Oh my goodness. See? Now, to have the experience with the Peruvian whistling vessels, do you have to be in a circle of whatever it is, 6 or 7 people, or can you do it just on your own with one?
I'd say it's probably better to do it with few because the vessels are all slightly out of tune with each other. And each time that they blow, well, therefore they create these infrasound and ultrasound frequencies that seem to stimulate something, go into the ear, and all of a sudden do something to the brain that I don't think we've mastered from a scientific level. I think the ancients had a whole lot more knowledge than we are aware of.
Yes.
Talking about the pyramids, it's probably quite true that the pyramids and a lot of these ancient structures were built with sound. This is not. Here's a quote from the New York Times Science section, February 8th, 1988. I know the date. It's a lot of 8s in that one. And sound shaped into dazzling tool can make, break, or rearrange molecular structure and levitate objects. So once again, they were just dealing with, at the time, levitating ping pong balls and the like. But if you had this down to a true science, like I said, we are in our infancy in terms of really understanding sound. And I think the ancients had much, much greater understanding. You find a commonality in their understanding that life, the universe, and everything was created solely through the power of vibration.
Yes. Yes. Incredible. And here you are, still at the forefront of all of this with your magnificent book. Hey, Joel, are you still listening to the show? Can you put that cover up for us again? There it is. Thank you. Ascension, Harmonics. Invoke the divine name for vibrational activation and healing by Jonathan Goldman. It dropped today. So get your copy and download the audio file so that you can experience the sound and how to do the sound yourself. That's wonderful that you offered that with the book.
I think it's marvelous.
Well, I just think maybe I've gone through too many lifetimes when I had too many people who were following me. That's not my path this time. I'm just a bozo on the bus. We can all do it. And, we can all do it. And therefore, my teaching you how to do it is going to be a whole lot effective. You give a person a fish, you feed them for the day. You teach them to fish, you feed them for their life.
Right, right.
Very true, very true.
And I don't know your wife, but I have this feeling about her that she's such an advanced being. And I don't know. I know you're the front man here. But please give her our love because
definitely
her energy comes through you in such a pure and powerful way. And she is a priestess in her own right.
Right. And she would probably not acknowledge it either. We both try to be pretty humble and pretty kind. But I will say that we have, from my perspective, a wonderful, loving relationship. And that is perhaps the greatest thing that one can manifest in this lifetime on the planet.
Very true. Very true.
Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, for just acknowledging that.
I mean, her energy is extremely powerful. And I kept hearing, how can I describe it? I'm looking for the words. It's almost like celestial sound with her. And it's just who she is. She's just beautiful.
Well, Patricia, I'll tell you, sometimes I think I'm a conduit for the angel of sound, and I think that she's a conduit for the angel of love.
Oh my! Aren't you a lucky man?
Aren't I a lucky man? And I have to say, it really took a major evolutionary step on my part in order to be able to recognize this. because sometimes living on this earth plane, we are so blinded to some of the
Yeah.
obvious things.
Yeah.
And this is a whole another, if you like, field of dreams that we could get into at some point in time and space. But
Yes, please.
I just want to suggest to you that working with our own sound, or working with our own sound and working with the energy of love. My friend Sarah Benson, I'll bring her up in one last time. Many years ago, I had the Sound Healers Association, and we were looking for a logo of the Sound Healers Association. She said, "What about the true sound of healing is love?"
Mm.
And I said, "Oh, Sarah, that's so corny. No. You know what? It's not been 40 years, and I think it's some of the most important knowledge that I ever can manifest to people. People are looking, there are some people who think that love is a frequency. It isn't. We can project love on any frequency. It all has to do with our hearts and our brains working together and our energy fields working together. We are magnificent creatures. And if we can just begin to own part of our magnificence, all is good."
Yes,
Very
exactly.
true.
Yes. Well, I know you've inspired us tonight, and you've inspired our entire audience.
Very
And
much so.
I can't wait to download that file. I'm just itching to download that file.
It's going to take a little work, but you'll be very happy.
I will be.
Good
I
to
know
know.
it.
Good to know.
I know it. My goodness. Well, Jonathan, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us tonight and on this very special day for
Yes,
you
definitely.
introducing this new book. It's very exciting stuff, which you always bring with you wherever you go. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And please come back. Would you come back and we'll talk about more things? You have so much to share.
Yes.
We really scratch the surface tonight, I think.
It's great. And if I can just leave you with this,
Yes.
we heal the planet, we heal ourselves. We heal ourselves, we heal the planet. We have a choice, and we can make a difference.
Amen.
Amen. Definitely.
Mhm. Yes. Well, again, thank you so much, Jonathan Goldman, and your beautiful wife. Thank her for us, please.
And
And
it's,
go ahead.
I was going to say, it's going to be marvelous to have this book available to so many people now.
Yes.
I think now is the time, and I'm so grateful that we were able to initiate live contact through the Supernatural Girls.
Yes.
What a blessing this is.
Oh, our blessing for you
Yes.
is to
Thank
go
you
forward.
so much.
It's
Well,
great.
We will be back next week, everybody, with another great show. And until then, we will see you on the Blue Highway. Good night.